I am getting a late start. It is 9:30 in the morning. It poured rain all night last night. It was 102 degrees yesterday, and now it's like 80. So that's good. So I paid $30 for 3 boxes of these spark plugs, not this exact one, but like a whole bunch of different ones. And a bunch of them I ended up just lotting together because I only had 1s or 2s. Anything I had a bunch of multiple quantities of, I put 2 together and then listed multiples of these. Sold for $16.99 free shipping to an international buyer. This is kind of a fun thing. It's letterhead from Nintendo of America. And it's a letter. I'll put the screenshot up. I bought a box of Nintendo games, and this was in it, and it's basically just a letter somebody wrote to Nintendo and said, hey, where can I get an extra manual for this game? And we're having trouble buying the gotcha game that we were wanting. And where can we find that? And Nintendo just wrote them a nice letter back and said, you have to contact the manufacturer for extra manuals. And I think it was Squaresoft, which was just Square at that point, I think. Anyway, and then, or maybe it was Hudson. It doesn't matter. It's in the letter. You can see it. And then the game, they're like, we're working on getting better quantities of that game out. And so it's just a neat thing. It's not worth much. I listed it for $40 just to see. Somebody offered me 25 and I took it. If you're not familiar with the brand The Mountain, you should be. They do tie-dyed all kinds of shirts. This one isn't super desirable. It's bacon, which is awesome, but then it's a size small. And if you eat bacon enough to have a bacon enthusiast's t-shirt, then probably you're not wearing a size small. But the vintage ones, like this has a screen printed tag. Some of them will be on a hang tag. Some of them will have a leathery patch here. The leathery patch ones tend to be good. The nature and like Native American ones tend to do really well. Or if you can find ones that have intellectual properties on them, those do really well. Just generic bacon in a size small is only going to sell for $9 plus shipping. But I've had it listed forever. I'm glad to see it moved. It's cool enough, but just look out for the Mountain shirts. They tend to do well. Okay, so you guys saw, did I talk about these already? I need to ship them today. The marble, you guys saw the day we picked up the Virtual Boy. What drew me to the yard sale was this sitting on the table, and I picked this up. I sold one for $17. I did talk about this already. This one sold, buyers all in at $50 something. And they sell super fast. So I'm going to ship this today. If you see this marble track stuff, pick it up. It sells crazy fast. T-shirt, old Yankees. That starter tag tends to do pretty well, especially if there's a hit on the sleeve. This says, yeah, this starter hit on the sleeve. This one has a stain and it's cracked and stuff, but that stuff kind of, for some people it adds. I have no idea where this came from. And it only sold for $11 free shipping. When VHS was blowing up a year and a half ago, maybe a little bit more, I found these at a sale, not a sale, a thrift store for $1 a piece. And I'm like, I'm gonna try those. 18 months later, they sold for $11 free shipping. So, I mean, I'll make money. I'm only in them for 50 cents. I'll probably make $7. But is $7 in a year and a half worth your time? Probably not. $7 out of 50 cents and you get it right away or 6 weeks. Maybe that's worth your time. It would be worth my time. But making $7 on a 50-cent investment and knowing that it was going to take a year and a half, I'd have probably skipped it. So this is a little bit of a weird one. It's probably not worth your time. Sold for $30, but it's 28 of these books. And what they are is like their pocket library of fine art. And like some of them have nudies on the front. I mean, it's fine art, but I'm not going to show it. You guys can look them up. Anyway, Van Gogh and Rembrandt, and they're from the like 60s. Pocket Guide to Fine Art. So there's, and 53, and they are, I've got 28 of them, and I have most of the first 35 in my lot of 28, something like that. And those are hoarder house things, so I'm glad to get the $30 sale. But if you had to buy 28 of them, even at a quarter a piece, they're probably not worth selling for 30 bucks. So that's something that sold for me. So I'm showing you that because I do what solds. If you find them in a house full of crap that you bought all the contents to, then they're worth listing. But otherwise, I don't know that those books would necessarily be worth wasting a whole bunch of time on. A couple of unusual things here. This shirt, single stitch, it's on a nice Russell tag, and it says 1992 on it, Peoria Racquetball Club. And it's sold to somebody in Los Angeles. So it's just a cool single stitch dated shirt. It sold for $11 free shipping, maybe it sold plus shipping. But the it's not, you know, some banger Bulls single stitch thing. It's just a general single stitch shirt, and it's sold for $12 plus shipping. I know that I got that at Goodwill when they were $2.99 per shirt. This is also that same good Russell Athletics tag, and it's number 44 on the back and nothing on the front. So just generic single stitch old athletic shirts can do well. Those, I mean, they're long tail. Those took a long time to sell, but that's $28 that I made on them. I don't know. I know that the blue one I got for next to nothing on a whatnot auction. A guy that starts shirts for $1, and that didn't get any bids. And then the other one I got at Goodwill for like $3. This Ertl toy, I picked it up on the auction the other day. I think I didn't pay more than $5 for it. It either went for $2.50 or $5. And I sold it for $20 free shipping, and that's pretty good. Another set of books where it's like, I sold this huge lot and maybe it's not worth your time. A lot of these do well, though. There are a whole bunch of these books that will do well if you find them. So this is The Destroyer, and I have 16 books in the lot. The Destroyer, and I got them out of a shed in somebody's yard that I cleaned out their hoarder house full of stuff. So it's a big lot. If you had to pay a quarter a piece, they're probably not worth selling for $16. But if you're finding them at a thrift store, they're probably in a little better shape than these are. So I've got 16, and they are like just really sporadic numbers. That doesn't help either. If you find these kind of books, it's this size and shape with the yellow sides as opposed to, like, that yellow isn't the same color as the paper. Phantom, Shadow, The Destroyer, The Avengers, not Marvel. If you find Flash Gordon, or I'm trying to think what the name of that other one was. Couldn't think of it. I tried to look it up. I couldn't find it. Anyway, these like pulp fiction novelettes that come in big lots are worth picking up in large lots and can be worth quite a bit of money if you find the right ones. So I sold a Sinclair oil can, and I sold a 3-pack of Wolf oil cans. The Wolf ones are composites, and the Sinclair is metal. and you can see it's Sinclair is a classic vintage oil can that doesn't exist anymore. I think Wolf was more like a local, not a regional kind of thing, when that was a real thing and not multinational conglomerates owned all the oil in the world. But the oil cans are very collectible, and I paid $2 a piece for them, and I've had them for a couple weeks, and I sold a handful right off. The metal one did really well, and I have one more of that metal one, and then I have a bunch more of the Wolf head ones, but the composite ones, you can see, just didn't perform super well. These are 3 3/4 movie monsters. I paid $20 for the lot of them. They're not old. They're from like 2014. This one's 2019. Well, that says Bela Lugosi's 2019, and that one's Bela Lugosi. Anyway, they're from like 14, 15, and 19, I think. And I paid $20 at auction. Vintage, old movie monster stuff does well, even if the stuff isn't old. But Super 7 is a really good brand you want to look out for. So now these are also reaction, and you don't reaction isn't always good, but when they're paired with Super 7 is really good. So anyway, I paid $20 for these. A buddy of mine ran an auction on his personal Facebook page, and I got them for 20 bucks, and I knew they were worth more than that, so sold them for 50, and I've had them for a couple of weeks. This the Chieftains t-shirt. It's vintage at this point. It's from the Nashville Sessions. That's why it says the Nashville Sessions, and it's on a Sundog tag, which can be a good one, especially if you find Grateful Dead on Sundog tags. But the Chieftains are an old funk band, or an old folk band down the old plank road. The Nashville Sessions. I looked that album up, and I think it was from like 2001 something. That could be way off because I don't really remember at this point. But it's a vintage tag, a kind of an obscure band, and I found that shirt where shirts were always $1, and I've had it forever. If you've been with the channel a while, you'll remember the thrift store that doesn't have a name, and then it went out of business, and it was my favorite thrift store, and it just said thrift store on the side of the building. So I think they've been out of business for 2 years, and I picked this up there, so it's been listed a while, but it sold for 20 bucks plus shipping. So for $1, it's worth picking up. I just had to wait on the right buyer, and I could have lowered it down to nothing, but I still think the right buyer is who's going to buy that, and not not just random anybody because it's cheap. Little tiny pew pew, sold for $18.90, free shipping. Camelback, I picked this up for $1.49 at Goodwill the other day. It sold for nothing. $7.70 plus shipping. Camelback can be a good brand. This is a replacement part. I thought it would do really well. I was not incorrect. It did okay, but I mean, it sold fairly quickly. And then this robot, I bought him for $5 at a yard sale, sold him for $40 to somebody, shipped it. They said it didn't work, shipped it back. I put batteries in it. It absolutely works perfectly. I don't know why they would say that. I fought not the return. I got the, money back. I got the item back in working condition, so I didn't fight the return, but I did fight the reason for the return. I selected inaccurate return, or whatever the option is, to report the problem with the return, and I got the money back for the return shipping from eBay, and the money back, and the ding taken off my account. This is now it's sold to somebody who's a zero account, zero feedback. I don't worry about zero feedback, people. I just happened to notice that, so I thought I'd mention it. eBay will allow you to check out as a guest, and so you don't have any feedback if you check out as a guest. Sold for $37, free shipping. I'm basically, well, if I hadn't got the return shipping back, I'm still not quite to even on it. I'm probably spent $15 now to make this $37, and it's free shipping, so I'll be $25 and basically just not make nearly as much money because somebody bought it. The deal with it is it takes a battery in each foot, and then you turn it to on and it talks, and you turn it to off and it talks and walks when you press these buttons on the front. That isn't inherently straightforward, and I think probably the person who bought it, even though their name was something like Toy Collector, didn't know how it worked. Maybe they got it and didn't realize what they bought. I don't know. Anyway, it does work. It's not my fault, but it's still costing me money. But that's the cost of doing business, and I'm not bitter about it. I'm just explaining to you guys what's going on. Anyhow, I got to ship him, and it's sold. This thing, if you see this robot, it's from Lost Planet, Forbidden Planet. Very iconic robot from the early 60s, maybe even the late 50s TV. This one is from like 2018 or something. So again, classic old 2019, classic old cinema TV, new reproduction thing, still iconic and going to sell reasonably well. But if you find it, it'll sell. It might sell twice in a month if somebody returns it.